Hello and welcome back to the Agora Tournament Series predecessor fans. I am Lance here with my good buddy Spooky. How you doing today, Spooky?
Lance, I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here. This whole tournament has been just one crazy event. Now we're even getting into the semifinals. Like, my excitement is at an all-time high, Lance. I cannot wait to see what happens next.
It is, and we're just going to take a quick second to review this bracket. We did have the two teams that we are about to see, Team Immune and Team ToS, both get 2-0 victories in the quarterfinals. Over on the other side of the bracket, we had the Professors take the 2-0 against Team Faded. We had Slime Temps take 2-0 over Vanguard, and then the Professors 2-0'd Slime Temps in the semifinals. They are awaiting the winner of this match between Team Immune and ToS. This one should be an absolute banger of a match. ToS is our defending champion. Immune is looking very good. They did end up getting the highest seed out of our group rounds that happened last Sunday. So it will be a real clash between these two to see who is going to have the right to face the Professors in the finals.
And I always hate to go so far back, but if we do take a look back at those group play-ins where we originally saw Team Immune come in, They earned that top seed for a reason. They were looking dominant consistently throughout every single match. This is a team that knows what they're doing. They're a team that plays on the same page. And Lance, I think one of the bigger points about this team is that they are entirely an EU team. They had that performance on Ping. They're having the same performance here today on Ping. These guys do not slow down. They do not let it matter. I think Team ToS has quite the match ahead of them, despite being the current champs.
They do, and we are going to get over into our picks and bans right away. So you see this first ban coming out of ToS. They're going to ban the Gideon. That is specifically, two target bans, actually. So the Gideon ban is specifically over to Empty on the side of Team Immune. If you watch that man play in group plays, you notice he did not die a single time in our group plays, mostly on that Gideon. And then on the reverse, Immune is definitely target banning Sanjay with that Countess play. That is Sanjay's favorite champion, the one he really likes to abuse the most. So gonna take two mid laners out of the pool here. Go ahead, Spooky.
I was gonna say, it's always nice to see these kind of mini metas develop as these teams move through the tournaments. You can tell that Team ToS has been keeping an eye on Team Immune. They're not underestimating their opponents. They understand the threat they bring, but it does leave certain picks up. It leaves some of these maybe higher priority picks on the board. Muriel, recently buffed, goes the way of Team ToS as a first pick. Rampage on the side of Team Immune. And frankly, Lance, we've seen this gadget on Immune before. And it's not in the mid lane. It's over there in the solo lane. It looked great in the play-ins. Can't imagine it looks any worse here.
Yeah, and then once again, definitely targeting that championship pool, or that champion pool of Sanjay over there in the mid lane. That man is a robotics engineer student, definitely likes being on the gadget, reminds him of himself probably a little bit over there for Sanjay. So we're definitely going to get him, down to his 4th or 5th preferred champion in this match. Very, very smart drafting coming out of Immune so far.
And that's really what you have to have when you're looking at the semifinals, right? At this point, you know what your opponents have to offer. You know that they can play this game. Well, they wouldn't be here if they couldn't. So you have to pay some respect to that. Anytime you can take a pick away from them and get sort of an additional ban in the mix there, that's just great drafting coming out from Team Immune. Now, ToS does answer back. They've got themselves a nice front line here. Steel and Grux, very solid. Grux should be able to have a decent handle on Gadget in the solo lane. Lots of sustain there. Does have some good lockdown potential to try to get on top of this Gadget. We'll have to see if that does pay off. But with the additional mobility coming out from Muriel, be able to just make a global ult across the map. I like what I'm seeing so far from ToS.
Yeah, and something I really like about both Steel and Grux here is either one of those can be offlane and either one of those can be jungle. So what they're going to do is they're going to wait for Team Immune to show their offlane pick before making the decision of what champion they're going to put into which role there and get that preferable matchup onto Profifost in the offlane for ToS. Try to attack Tang by getting a favorable matchup and potentially try to win over through that lane. So very, very good drafting coming out of both of these teams. We're going to see the Revenant. I believe this is the first time we're going to see a Revenant in competitive play. Kind of been dominated by Drongo and Murdoch lately. Also going to see that Sevarog come in as well. Good pickup there because, as you can see, they have already drafted their offlaner over here for ToS, so not going to be able to throw that crunch out here to counter that Sevarog. Probably give him a pretty good lane, but is a little rough into the steal matchup in the off lane.
I'm interested to see what build this Revenant decides to go, because as we all know, Magical Revenant is a viable strategy at this point. Now, it did just take a nerf. It's not as strong as it was before, but it's still something that Immune has to flex into if they so choose. Right now, their draft offers them quite a bit of flexibility. They don't even have to commit this gadget to the solo lane right now. They could put that in mid, put Sevarog over into the solo, or they could take the Sevarog, and we've seen him go into the jungle a few times as well. So tons of flexibility here from both sides. Neither team is entirely sure what they're going to be playing against, and it makes these last few picks all the more difficult. You have to go for something that you feel comfortable playing into any of these picks so far, and that's not the easiest thing to do.
Definitely, and Team ToS definitely understands the flexibility of these picks. I've watched a lot of their scrims, as I've mentioned in the past, and they've even played a little bit of Rampage off lane, a little bit of Rampage support in last month's Grand Finals, as well as they threw that over to Feppy. So they are definitely going to be respectful of the Rampage. Probably going into the jungle, though, but the hypothetical situations are always fun to talk about.
That's right. I wouldn't complain if I saw the Rampage go into support, okay? I hate seeing that guy anywhere because you always see the boulder before you see him, and that's never a fun experience if you are prone to dying. But you've got plenty of tankiness on ToS. You've got some pretty good safety. Drongo is a little bit vulnerable to some of these ganks before he reaches level 5 and gets that ultimate available to him. Very low mobility on that character. But it is Narbash locked in last for Team Immune. So no Rampage in the support. We are going to be seeing Narbash in that support role traditionally.
And really good team fighting comp coming out of ToS. Really big wombo combo with the fly trap into Steel ult, into Muriel ult, into Grux just being there. A lot of time for Drongo just to be able to stand over next to them, pump a lot of damage out with that rad rounds with his ultimate, with old Rusty, his trusty boomerang. Good team fighting comp from them as well, but it feels like Immune has got a lot of the power picks. Sevarog widely considered the best offlaner in the game right now. Kind of a toss-up between Gadget and Gideon for who's got supremacy there in the mid lane. Rampage, even with the nerfs, still looking like the best jungler. And then the duo lane is kind of a toss-up. Muriel's kind of taken that shine as the top support right now, but Narbash is definitely 1B or 1A, depending on who you're talking to and what your playstyles are. Really great drafting after the target bans came out from these teams. Can't wait to see this game one get started. Can't wait to see which one of these teams is going to go to the finals and take on Professors later today.
And it all really does come down to this for these two teams. Can Immune beat this NA team, get themselves to that championship place, and try to fight for the number one? Will ToS be able to secure themselves their defending championship title? It's a tough one. ToS has a lot riding on this semifinals match. If they fall here, it really breaks the entire tournament wide open, because these are the ones who you kind of expect to win if you just look at history, right? ToS won the first one. They've had a great showing here this tournament, made it all the way to the semis, and now they're facing a team on ping. Surely it's easy, but man, Team Immune is all but immune to criticism because these guys have just been knocking it out of the park.
They surely have been, and it'll be interesting to see which one of these teams gets to stop the potential Cinderella story that the Professors have. Anybody privy to the community kind of knows that Professors is a real good team, not necessarily a true 7 seed, but for the sake of the tournament, they were our 7 seed today. They knocked out our number 2 in 2-0 fashion. They knocked out Slime Stems, who was our number 7, or I believe our number 5, in 2-0 fashion. And they are awaiting the winner of this team to complete the Cinderella story, the underdog story for them today. And it looks like we are about to get on to the map. Here is game one of the semifinals. This is ToS versus Team Immune. We will be showing you guys Team Immune's perspective right now. You can see Neft, the AD carry for Team Immune, right now on your screen. This beautiful Revenant skin looks a lot better in game than in the store, it feels like to me, but really like those green emerald colors on him.
Absolutely. You know, I always like seeing Revenant just because I feel like his reload animation is so very satisfying. I just think it's one of the coolest things in the game. It doesn't actually do anything, it's just the reload, but it looks so cool when he does it, and it feels very satisfying in the middle of a fight. Pop one guy 4 times, get that reload. Oh, it just feels so cool.
It does feel really great. He's also got a little bit extra movement to him, a little bit more human-like, lifelike, because of the extra things that that Omega put into his champion design. Said that's coming to all champions in a matter of time, and they'll all start to look quite as cool as Revenant when he's like jumping and falling and moving around. Very humanistic movements out of Revenant, which is neat to see.
I've never seen a human make quite that move right there. We'll let Neff get away with that one. Take
a
look at
little
the positioning,
humanistic.
though.
All right, so the waves are just going to crash. And hey, look at that. Spooky calls this is a Sevrog mid. So we are going to see Empty on the Sevrog. We're going to see Tang on the Gadget. Nice little change here. Yeah, and actually, it looks like they put Sanjay on Grux. So we've got a little bit of kookiness coming out here, as that's going to be Profifost on Faye over for Team ToS in the off lane as well. So Mage off lane, Bruiser / Tanks in the mid lane. How spicy?
All right, I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting this, but if you take like 3 seconds to think about it, it actually makes a ton of sense. Look, these teams have been watching each other. They know what they like to do. You think ToS doesn't know that Team Immune likes to play this Gadget in the solo lane? They absolutely know. So they're going to go ahead and send Sanjay on a melee character into this mid lane when they see that Gadget is their only mage. So they put another mage in that solo lane to negate the advantages that Gadget would bring to that lane. No longer will you be outranging and outpoking them. You're not against this Grux anymore. You're against someone who can trade and clear just as well as this Gadget can. And that's such smart drafting coming out from ToS. That's why they are the current champions, and that's the kind of thing you have to expect when you're going against a team this good. Keep an eye on that left side. There may be some potential for a fight. Crashy is
here comes the gank. Crashy's going to pop in. They're going to hit him with the Bull Rush and the Steal. He is going to hit the Blink and drop the Subjugate on him to keep himself safe. Oh, the Blink gets him!
Oh!
Oh, so that's first blood for Sanjay. I may have gotten a little bit of caster curse there, mentioning that Empty didn't die a single time in our group stages. He's going to be first blood of the semifinals.
You know what, just pull the card out, blame it on Ping, say you weren't able to activate the health pot in time. Man,
and
that
Sanjay's
is
going to hit a cheeky roam over into the off lane. Going to match Crashy coming over there as well. Ooh, and he's got him up here.
Oh,
Neff is going to, or Tang is going to get him. So Tang's going to pick up Profifost. Profifost isn't the offlaner we saw out of ToS in the last tournament. They had a sub defenses on for him. Profifost is their original OG offlaner there, getting taken down as well early. So right now we got a kill count of 2-0 in favor of Team Immune, getting this early advantage. Something to keep an eye on while we have Neff up on screen here. This man is a CSing machine. I mentioned last week, this man basically has a degree in agriculture, the way he be farming, and he's going to look to probably stay close to perfect CS most of this game.
Yeah, that's really what you want, especially on a character like Revenant, who is so gold reliant. The more gold you get, the more value. Of course, that's true for really any ADC, but especially on a character like Revenant who gets bonus gold for his kills. If you can get this guy ahead, you are looking absolutely wonderful. And that's really what you need right now. They're taking a little bit of a spill early, but Ron twice answers back.
Again. So that's going to be 0-2 on that off lane Faye right now. So just to elaborate a little bit, one of the reasons that we see a lot of these mages in the offlane, a lot of their items are very big, very strong. Mages do a lot of damage right now, and the reason that you're seeing Gadget and Gideon and all of those champions over in the offlane is because they've got a lot of escapability. Gadget's got her cone she can drop down on herself. She's got the speed gate that will root you if you try to follow her. Very safe for her to be in that elongated lane. That offlane is, well, Profifost doesn't have that over there on the Fae. Even though she is in the mage-to-mage matchup, that lane is very, very long, and she is a sitting duck if she gets even up near the river, especially if that blink is down.
Yeah, I really like the decision from Team Immune to start putting some attention over there. You know why you put that Gadget there, is to try to get a little bit of a lead, put the enemy offlaner down behind. Don't let them free farm quite as easily as they normally would, and don't let them scale so easily. Now that ToS has tried to answer that back with their draft, it's up to Team Immune to try to counter the answer, and they're doing exactly that. Put Rampage over there. Get RAR twice a little bit more active on that side. If you can't find a whole lot in this mid lane, which honestly it's going to be a little bit difficult to find a whole lot of value in this mid lane. Two fairly beefy guys here, very short lane. They can get to safety fairly easily. So where do you look? You go over to where the ganks are at their best. Faye, notoriously low mobility, no escape tools at all. All she can really do is drop the fly trap, try to pull you back, and then hit you with a slow. Once that's out of the way, or frankly not even on the board, as Faye doesn't have the ultimate yet, it's free ganks.
Yeah, and we see in the mid lane here, once again, it looks like Sanjay is starting to make a move over to the side. Gonna see if that river buff was up, not quite. We're just going to get a reset out of Empty here, building towards that Tainted Guard. If you ever go against a Grux in lane and you are playing a tank, Tainted Guard is the way to start. Grux does a whole lot of healing early. That's a good way to slow him down. One of the reasons that Sevarog actually has an advantage over him right now is his accessibility to build that Tainted Guard early.
And be critical as they scale into the late game to make sure they keep this Grux's healing under control. If you can start that early on, it really does help to prevent him from getting too much of a lead. Now, a little bit of a fight over that gold buff.
It does look like ToS was able to pick that up, yeah. And yeah, basically on that Sevarog, you're just looking to out-sustain. Ooh, if we could get a tab, actually, it doesn't look like that's Empty play in mid. That looks like it is their sub, Jabin, who is also a very good player, a mid lane player as well. So a really, really deep mid lane rotation for Team Immune, with having both Empty and Jabin available for them. Jabin, really entertaining dude, really funny guy if you've ever checked out any of his Twitch or anything. No slump at all for Sanjay here.
Oh, you know what that means, Lance? You know what this means?
What does that mean?
It means Empty still hasn't died this tournament.
Empty may have died in the quarterfinals, since we did not broadcast those. We don't have those answers, but he did not die in the groups. And I didn't do the caster curse, which is what really matters. But it does look like they are pursuing Irar through the jungle. And whoa, Team of Sneaks, they're gonna take the first Fangtooth while Team Immune is around chasing ReAwakening twice through the jungle, running away to save his life. Crashy's going to run over there and sneak that really quick. That's going to give him the extended jungle buffs. Good little macro play by ToS there.
Yeah, that's a really big objective to get so early on. Didn't seem like they had any idea what was happening. In fact, Team Immune had no rotation to that objective whatsoever. It was completely free for ToS.
We can see on the map, no wards.
Yeah, the first one isn't too bad, right? It's extended buff duration that will play a role later on, but it's not dire straits just yet, right? You start letting 2 go, you start letting 3 go, that's when you're going to be a little bit more concerned at that point. But Team Immune, they've got time to answer back. Sanjay is doing so in the mid lane.
Jabin is going to knock him into it. They're going to hit him with the boulder. What a combo. And not enough mana to use the subjugate over here on Jabin, which is going to keep Sanjay safe. They're going to use the Uno reversal card out of Feppy as well. Just make sure that there's no re-engage onto Sanjay. No worry for him. But Crashy is going to move forward. They've got clear cast, which is the support over here for Team Immune. A little bit out of position. However, it doesn't look like anybody is going to fall at the second.
Yeah, that was honestly a very good gank coming out from both Jabin and RAR twice. Great CC chain. Colossal blow knocks Sanjay over into the tower, and immediately the boulder toss comes through, locks him down, gets a little bit of extra damage. If Jabin had a little bit more mana, that could have been a really good kill there. But unfortunately for them, the opportunity just wasn't there. It wasn't in the cards. Gonna have to regen a little bit more. But if you could pull that play off again with more mana, well, it's looking pretty good. But I'd be a little bit skeptical of ToS stepping up that far and allowing that one to happen one more time. It does give them a little bit of pressure there to work with. Once again, contested, but it is going the way of Immune this time. And here's RAR twice, looking for a little bit of fight. Can he find the CC, though, is the question. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, there is Neff getting really close to that 10 CS a minute mark. As we saw, he was at 94, just about the 10-minute mark. Good fly trap's going to come out to save Profifoss' life. Tang was definitely going to be able to pursue him if he kept that going. That is down no. gonna make Profifas pretty vulnerable over there in the off lane.
He does open him up to some further ganks from Irar twice there, and that's what we've been seeing a little bit of so far. So you gotta bet that Tang is communicating, hey guys, look, Fly Trap, it's on cooldown. No safety right now. I'm not sure if the Blink is also on cooldown for Profos. If it is, that is a massive opportunity, but even if it's not, there is enough CC there and enough damage coming out from Tang and Var twice that they should be able to catch Fade even after blinking. However, it looks like the damage isn't quite there. Profos makes the trade 1-for-1. Not 1-for-1. How is he alive?
The hat just isn't quite enough damage to finish the little fairy off. Even with that advantage of Tang getting those early kills, somehow still able to survive over here on the Fae, as it does look like they have invaded into where Irar twice is on his red side jungle. Him and Crash here just having a little handshake there, fighting for positioning over that orb, or mini orb right now. A little bit of pressure working towards the mid lane here. Jabin needs to be careful because Crashy's coming in on him right now. Oh, Muriel's there as well. Jabin's got to have to use the slither to get away. Still just working back towards the river, back to his strong side here where his dual lane is that can keep him safe.
I tell you, there were definitely some hands involved on the left side, but I don't think it was a handshake. Cast here for a gank onto 9, but he's not stepping up. He seems to have some kind of awareness. Oh wait, Muriel is right behind him, and there's the engage, looking for 9. The Super Blast gets him out of danger. The Shrapnel Cannon on cooldown. Possible opportunies now, but Crashy is here.
Ooh, Crashy's deep. He misses the bull rush. He's gonna hit him with it.
Oh.
The reversal card's gonna come out. They're gonna get him with the wombo combo ult that we talked about earlier, and just like that, Neft has fallen. ToS is really starting to make really good rotations through this map, starting to get themselves back into this, as it does look like they are going to trade the mini prime over for that pressure into the duo lane, though, as Irar twice and Tang do move over to that. Profifas is going to give him a little bit of contention, but probably not much he can do against the both of them. Yeah, and they're going to put that mini prime over onto Rar. Good objective pickup over there for Immune. Going to be able to move that buff between the lanes, get strong, get the pressure where they need with the buffed up minions. And it looks like Jabin is once again pursuing over here, and that's going to be second Fang for ToS. Man, they are being so sneaky about this. Great rotations, trading the mini prime for it.
Crashy, very low, looking to fight. They might get out. However, it doesn't look like Sanjay has a way out. The CC is good, looking for a little bit more, but Neff puts one in the head, and Sanjay goes down. The Warlord has fallen. The Lance, what a play coming out from ToS there.
Yeah, definitely the tears of Sanjay.
Wait, Crashy is still under danger.
Neft is a monster. He's gonna blink forward.
Oh no!
Oh, he doesn't get the shot off. Crashy escapes with a sliver of health. Cue the turkey noises. Crashy gets out.
Man, that is just unfortunate.
Yet it's amazing. He's a turkey. It's great. Look it up. Sorry for the reference. Anyways, here, Neff definitely blows a lot to try to get that as well, using both his crest and his blink. Crashy's got to feel good about the resources that were just used up. Look for him to gank this lane in return soon. Ooh,
oh my goodness!
Look at that damage on Obliterate coming out from Neff this early in the game, and he's already chunking people.
I mean, I guess it lives up to the name, right? Obliterate certainly obliterated 9's health bar there. That's what you kind of have to expect when Neft is allowed to farm up like he is so far. I mean, look how well he's doing. He's only got 2 kills, sure, but the CS that you were talking about is absolutely integral. He has so much gold just sitting on him, being turned into items. It's so hard to fight against this Revenant right now. Now, I do want to take a quick look back.
Oh, just a quick, I did get a peek at the score quick. It is 4-3 in the favor of Team Immune. No, we don't have the kill count. Please give us what you were going to say, Spooky. I just wanted to make sure we got that broadcasted.
Absolutely. I do want to take a quick look back at that mini prime, right? Because I do think that Immune made the right decision of putting it onto Rar twice in the jungle. But I'm not 100% down with the choice to take mini prime at that moment, right? They could have instead rotated over to that Fangtooth because it was coming up. They had the timer there, and it was so close to spawning in, they could have fought a little bit more strongly around it and kept ToS from getting a free Fangtooth, but they didn't make that decision. They went for the mini prime, and they did secure it for themselves, It came at a cost.
I think right now teams are kind of prioritizing that mini prime over those Fang Teeth unless it is the third one or the primordial one, just because of the changes to that buff, and you don't necessarily have to worry about getting down 4 or 5 Fang Teeth and all of a sudden the enemy's got a 35% advantage, a 40% advantage, or whatever the numbers used to be. An interesting trade to give Fang Tooth for mini prime, but a lot of times if you use that mini prime correctly, it is the proper trade in the current meta. A little bit of body block coming out of Neff, but he's gonna put him into another realm. Looking for the double, he's gonna hit the reversal to get himself out of there. Says, gotta blast! Gets out of there on the Muriel. Over to Profifos, potentially saves him as well.
What a reckoning coming out from Neff there. That absolutely saved Clearcast's life. Now, on this left side, there is a little bit of a rotation. Doesn't look like they'd be able to capitalize on it too much. But that is 100% value coming out from that dual lane. Neff not only saves his support's life, but also forces the ultimate out from Feppy as well. Forces him to clear all the way across to the other map. Say, okay, you know what? I don't want to fight you anymore. My mistake. I guess the 2-on-2 wasn't as even as I thought it was. And it's really just Neff kind of laying down the law.
And they do have all 3 tier 1 towers taken down on ToS's side here now as well. So definitely starting to stretch a little bit of a gold advantage. 2 Fang Teeth over 4 ToS is going to give them a little bit of gold, but they traded one of them for the mini prime, which does give a tiny bit more gold than Fang Tooth. Definitely looking to be maybe 1,000, 2,000 gold, if not more, ahead on Team Immune's side right now. But ToS is definitely not out of this game yet. Really good team fighting comp like we talked about before. And like you're seeing right now, Sanjay is just holding W on to Jabin. Gonna ultimate him into the tower, but he's able to walk right out as the subjugate doesn't land in follow up. And look at all of this shielding coming out of Feppy.
Crashy is here to help
nice
out.
dunk's gonna land on the Crashy.
Jabin just doesn't care about the damage. So much shielding though. Coming out from
about
Feppy.
to hit 100 stacks. About to hit 100 stacks over here on Jabin. He's really starting to do a decent amount of damage, even going that tank route on the Sevarog. Very, very good pacing for him as well. 18 minutes in the game to be at about 100. A little bit behind what you like to see, but definitely very good pacing, especially considering he's in the mid lane, a little bit short of a lane, a little less safe for himself as well.
Good try there, Tang. Not going to clear that one, unfortunately. You see some aggressive positioning, though, coming out from Immune. They want to look for something. Crashy in the area, takes a hat onto himself. Root is good. Damage doesn't follow up with the bull rush over the wall, and now he's in the Fang Tooth pit, and the fight may just break out here. Under half health, it's a quarter HP, and it is ToS taking the Fang Tooth. The Neff has something to say about that, puts one down. Can he find himself a second knockback? That's not gonna stop him. He's got a pistol for a reason. Crashy goes down. It's a double for Neff.
Yeah, so that's two men down and an advantage over here for ToS. Really good job there, standing in the pit, zoning Crashy off, zoning the members of ToS from being able to get into that pit so that they were able to try to secure it. Great job by Crashy, breaking through those walls, getting past them, hitting that bull rush in, getting that big advantage with that third Fang Tooth over there onto the side of ToS. If they're going to climb back into this game, that 8% buff to their damage and their armors is really going to help. And then, as you can see, getting close to that 20-minute mark, trying to take the second mini prime right before it is going to despawn is Team Immune here, trying to push an advantage so that they can knock down some of these tier 2s.
They do get that buff as well. That should allow them to push for a little bit. Man, even with these Fang Teeth, ToS is just struggling, it seems, to really find success in the team fights. Yes, they do have Feppy on this Muriel, and she's doing a really good job of providing shielding and keeping the team alive. But they haven't really been able to find too many kills. We saw a couple come through early. Since then, it's been pretty quiet. It's been consistently Team Immune pushing ToS back and not giving any ground. It doesn't matter how many Fang Teeth you have if you can't do anything with them. And once again, another fall.
Oh, the shield comes through with the Soul Bearer. Great crest out of Tang right there, as it does feel like the bleed from the Rat Rounds probably would have picked him up. Great crest there, going the Soul Bearer route, going a little bit tankier as well. You can see Tang has got that True Silver Bracelet. That's something we're seeing out of a lot of off-lane gadgets as they're coming. Look at Neff, dude.
Wow.
He does not care. He will flash forward at you. He wants these kills. He knows when you're dead. He had a little bit of a miscalculation earlier with crashing. He says, I'm not going to do that again. The Frenchman is good at math. He knows what it's going to take to kill somebody, and he has got it.
It doesn't take a whole lot to kill anybody right now. Neft is really pumping out some damage numbers, forcing Crashy back. That's a TKO right before the Orb Prime, and all eyes now turn right towards it. This should be a free objective for Team Immune. Looking like a dangerous position for ToS.
They're going to rip it especially fast. They still do have Neft with the mini prime buff on him, as you can see him glowing purple here. So a whole bunch of damage coming out of him right now, helping them take that very fast. The 21-minute orb take by Team Immune. Really, really good play by them. Look to see them take a tier 2, maybe even an inhib here if they decide to move into this right lane.
Yeah, this is just clinical coming out from Team Immune right now. They know exactly how they want to play, and they are doing it extremely well. And you know what? I'm going to talk a little bit about the region difference here, because I think that does have a little bit to do with it. These NA teams, they play against each other all the time, right? They know what NA predecessor is like. They know what they want to do. They know what the other teams want to do. But in a lot of these games, you'll notice that EU teams tend to have a slightly different play style. And if you are in a completely different region where not a lot of people are seeing how you play the game, you come to these tournaments as a little bit of a wild card. You have a little bit of an edge because they are not expecting the strategies that you're putting into the game right now. I think that's somewhat of how this is going down. NA teams are very high publicity. You can see what they're doing. Team Immune can look at any predecessor stream and see, okay, this is how NA plays. NA doesn't have that same advantage, and Team Immune is just going crazy.
Yeah, another one of the advantages that EU seems to take, I don't hear a lot about NA East players going over and playing on the EU server, but as you can see here, these guys are used to this ping. They play with it pretty regularly. As you can see on some of their screens, look, Javen here's only got a 60 ping over here, around, actually getting closer up to 100 there for him, but all of them hovering around a 100 ping. That isn't great, but it's really not that terrible considering they're crossing an ocean with that. So yeah, here we are. We are moving towards the inhibs right now. Javen's starting to make that first hit over here onto the right side inhibitor. Doesn't have any minions, probably needs to back up and not face tank too much, but the pressure he's putting on is what is important about it. They've got all 3 waves pushed all of the way up into the inhibs. They're going to start taking the left one over there with Tang, working down this mid one very fast with Neft as well, and they may lose all 3 of their inhibitors at the same time here for ToS.
There's just no response from ToS right now. They cannot find a place to step forward. The damage is great coming out from Team Immune. Now it looks like the final toss maybe under duress. No, it's a step back from Team Immune. Not quite.
They're going to have to catch the next waves, as the inhibs did do a good job of clearing out that last thing of minion waves, but the super minions are coming. Ooh, Team Immune's going to move in. They're looking to take game 1, trying to put it to match point. Still got a decent amount of health on the court. Looks like it's about 76%. Team Immune is not giving up though. ToS is going to give all of their effort. Try to knock them off with this. Try to clear these minions. Muriel's going to come through. Not a whole lot of shielding up.
Damage.
Not enough. And ooh, Tang is up there. Keeping them blown into it. The core is not quite down yet. Ooh, they got to be really careful over here.
Oh my God!
I say that, and who's aggressive? Neft is aggressive. Do you see this man going forward? I cannot believe the double kill that man just pulled off. Only Steffi's left. Steffi's gonna go down. Oh my God, Neft, you animal! ToS stands for tons of sadness. Immune is gonna take game 1.
What the hell was that, Lens? All right, look, I was concerned.
Look at this replay on the screen here. Look at this replay. Watch what Neft is doing. The angry Frenchman just coming at him. I can't believe the style that guy plays with. Holy cow.
I was worried there, right? I saw the end call and I thought, okay, well, they could probably do it. And then they start going after ToS. They're starting to DPS the enemy team. They're not going after that core. I'm like, okay, well, it's kind of strange. The core health is not dropping, and there's 5 people here. And their health bars are getting lower and lower and lower and lower. Man, why was I worried? Neft is the guy. He sees one opportunity to get a kill. All right, full send on it. Oh, hey, there's another one. Blammy. He literally just one-tapped him. It was a one-tap, and he's gone. It's crazy.
Really showing that power of the late game Revenant with all of those additional scalings that he's got through his crit ratio multipliers, all of those different things, the bounties that he gets that really catapults him into that late game earlier in the game, really shown through for Neff there. Really good performance from him. Also, big shout out to Jabin for filling in for Empty that game.
Yeah.
Had a really good mid lane matchup, a little unorthodox still. It's kind of surprising that Sanjay, Jabin, Grux, Sevarog mid lane didn't get more attention than it looked like it was going to initially, because that was a really, really unusual, uncommon lane to see, especially in this high level of play.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, like how much can actually happen in that lane, right? Two pretty beefy characters wailing away at the minion wave, then occasionally at each other. There's not a whole lot of kills happening there, aside from the early gank coming out from Crashy. Did a great job on that one. But once that first kill came through, Jaden kind of looked at it and said, okay, you know what? Empty didn't die on stream. I'm not going to die anymore on stream. He had big shoes to fill, and boy, he filled them every step of the way.
He did a couple really, really good ults of Sanjay into the turret as well. I love seeing that as a big Sevarog fan myself. Nothing in this game is quite as satisfying as boop, hitting him into the turret, catching him with the subjugate, keeping him there, and then just like collecting a free kill off of it. I love it. It's such a good one.
And honestly, the entire game was pretty clinical coming out from Team Immune. Some adjustments have to be made by ToS if they want to pull back from this. And it's hard to say what exactly those are, because if you take a look at the broad end of things, right? ToS was playing the map pretty well, right? They took the Fangtooth away without any idea from Team Immune. And they took a second Fangtooth. And, Team Immune knew it was there, but they were a little late getting there, so it goes their way again. And then they steal the third Fangtooth away. Like, they were getting objective after objective, but it was the mini prime that never once went their way. And I think, as you touched on earlier, that was really what kind of helped swing things the way of Team Immune there. Once they got that buff on themselves and the minions, they were able to push for those towers, get that global gold in their pockets, and put themselves ahead.
Yeah, team of Steelers over there on ToS with the way that Crashy was able to take out those three Fangteeth. I believe he stole every single one of them, if not the last two for sure. Really good. Oh, no, they snuck the first one. Team of Sneaks for the first one. Team of Steals for the last two. Really, really good stuff over there from Crashy and them. I think that is one of the formulas they should look to continue to use if they want to pull a win out of here, push Immune to game 3, defend their title up against Professors in the grand finals. We're going to need to see some adjustments, but there are some things that went well that I hope they continue to work towards. Something I'd like to see is Sanjay back on a traditional mage. I know that pool really, really got targeted with the two bans and with Immune picking a mage first, but it'd still be nice to see Sanjay on something. I know he's played a decent amount of Grux because Sanjay is just a very well-versed player in general, but something that's just like a real comfort pick for him would be nice to see.
Yeah, definitely still has some options left on the board there. And still look for a few more. They probably could have put the Fae into that mid lane and still felt pretty okay. Of course, if Sanjay wasn't comfortable on the Fae, I could see why they would put him on the Grux instead. But overall, I think putting him on a more traditional burst character who can also rotate across the map would be a little bit more beneficial. Because as we touched on, they have good rotations to objectives. If they can also bring some of that damage across the map and put some damage in those lanes, try to set Neff behind a little bit, not let him just free farm, I think that'd be a great step forward for ToS towards victory.
That is right, Spooky. So yes, that was game 1 for us over here for this second semifinal of the night. We are at game point. If Immune wins, they will find Professors in the finals. ToS trying to claw back in, defend their title.